Perched on one of the most picturesque coastlines in England sits Bridlington, one of the jewels on the east coast of England in Yorkshire's East Riding. An idyllic resort for one of the summer's finest outdoor pursuits, Crown Green Bowls. Yes, a warm welcome to the Greens Park homes at Bridlington Masters here at Dukes Park Bowling Club, where almost 200 of the game's finest men and women players have been battling it out for the game's richest prize. And these were our last 8 women whose 4 quarter-finals saw Melissa Herbert, Kathy Wilson, Sylvia Salmon and Jenna Goff victorious. And while our youngest player Jenna won her semi-final comfortably, it was the other which produced the drama. Though Melissa led for most, Kathy emerged victorious and on her 35th birthday, watched by husband Graham, widely regarded as one of the game's finest ever players. Let's get right on with the action. And joining me in the commentary box, one of the game's finest ever ambassadors, Roy Armson. So the 2008 women's final, ready to start. And Roy Armson alongside me. It is a fascinating exchange of players, isn't it?
Yes, it is. Of course, people are prone to say that this is an old person's game. We prefer to say it's a young person's game that old people can play. And here's 2 young people playing now, obviously starting off a final. I'm sure it's all a case of who conquers the nerves, because they're playing for quite a lot of prize money. £1,000 to the winner and £400 to the runner-up. So it's a big game for both girls.
Jenna in blue, 28 years old. And her opponent, as I say, on her 35th birthday, and normally used to watching her husband on such occasions. As well as players who may not be used to being in finals, or certainly in the case of Kathy, it's a green that no one is really used to either, and it's certainly been causing a great deal of plaudits from those who played upon it, Roy.
Yes, I think everybody's been massively surprised at the quality of these greens at Dukes Park, Bridlington. And of course, when you think that in this part of the world it's 85% flat green country, a lot of the players have said that they wish they could roll these greens up and take them back to the northwest of England.
Looks as though Kathy has acknowledged that her opponent has the first score, and she leads 1-0.
Yeah, and I think Jenna will change the game here. She'll shorten the game. She's played the jack down the side of the green, and of course this green has quite a high crown. I would imagine it's probably around about a 16-inch crown, which is quite high for a crown green. And I think Kathy tends to want to play a little bit further. And of course there is a tremendous difference in the size of the bowls that these girls are playing with, because Jenna is playing with £2 6 ounces, which is about the average weight that most ladies play with, but Kathy has opted to play with £2 10 ounces, which is more of the most popular bowl that the fellas play with. So there is a difference in the bowls.
Well, Kathy's response was an excellent one there, wasn't it? Looks as though she may have just edged closer than Jenna's lead. I'm sure the nerves will start to settle down maybe in 3 or 4 ends time, but at first I'm sure there will be nerves around.
I actually watched them practice, Alistair, for about half an hour before this game, for the girls to get used to the bowls, because of course they are not playing with their own bowls. And in practice, Jenna was absolutely red hot. She was putting these bowls all around the jack, but of course that's okay in practice, but now she's got to do it in match situation.
Looks like Jenna's got the second point on the board as well. Ahead by 2.
And opting for the same length again, coming down the edge of the green, playing about 27 yards, making sure that she keeps Kathy down to a length which she's not very comfortable with. It's all about leading, of course, to put the pressure on your opponent. And she's playing what we call straight peg here. That's biased towards the crown, so that the crown will actually take the ball a little bit down. Not a good lead. And Kathy's just gone past as well.
It will often be the case that once a player feels comfortable on a certain part and certainly a certain distance, that they might just keep going there and there again, almost repetitively, Roy.
Oh yes, that's the golden rule in the game. If you're actually chalking on a mark, you don't come off it.
It's got a chance. She's certainly reduced the count. Indeed, out come the measures. In a final, you don't want to give up a bowl unless you're absolutely certain, do you?
No, it's you look at both sides, and if you're not sure, there's these days measures don't cost anything, so you might as well bring them on. The bookmakers, of course, in this particular game had Jen a very, very strong favourite. She was 7-2 on. That's possibly a measure of the weight of money that's gone on her, and possibly also the way that they've been watching her play. Kathy, you could get 2-1 for Kathy, but she's in again. Now she's changed the whole game. Going across the green.
It's a big psychological blow. I mean, I know it's early, but she's got the jack back in her hand and she can change it to something that suits her now.
Yeah, she's playing round peg. That's what we call the bias towards the ditch. That's the bias of the bowl and the slope of the green taking effect and bringing it all the way down. This is a mark she's played early on in the competition. What a great lead.
Yeah, superb. Two-one to Jenna. Kathy getting her first point on the board, and I'm sure feeling a lot better for it. And then with a lead to follow, she'll be feeling a lot more happy about herself and about being in a major final. And she's probably doubled up there too.
Referee has to make a decision again. She's firing.
No, it's off.
Here I am with the two most nervous men around the green here, the respective husbands of Jenna and Kathy, Graham Wilson and Anthony. First to start with you, Anthony, I believe you've had a bit of a dash to get here.
Well, I was meant to come yesterday, and Jenna told me to come at 2 o'clock, and I got as far as Huddersfield, and then the car broke down, so I got taken back to Blackpool on the back of a transporter. And then this morning when she rang me, after she got through the quarter-finals, I thought, oh, I'll take a risk, and I borrowed my sister's car, and I've set off. And I was at Huddersfield again when she rang me to say she got to the final. So.
Lovely, so she'll be glad for that support here.
Well, I hope. Yeah, but if she loses, whose fault will it be?
She's going to blame you. Always your fault. Graham, Kathy's got the red bowl today. Not superstition or anything like that?
No, I think it's her favourite colour anyway, is red. She likes wearing red, so I think it's a big difference for both ladies today in this final. I mean, they're both playing with bowls that have been sponsored by Thomas Taylor's, and I think they're both playing really well with them. I mean, they're having to adapt to them, and they're doing very well with them at the minute.
Well, things are all quite amicable here at the moment, but what'll happen if one wins, I don't know, but they're speaking at the moment.
Yeah, there she goes up the crown now, going a little bit further, and about 35 yards up here. It's all uphill, and then with a downhill finish. And just chatting with Kathy and Graham before this final, she seemed quite relaxed. Daughter Amelia was running around as usual, but Yeah, I think she's taken to her task pretty well. She's caught Jenna out here going up the crown.
I guess you can equate this to golfers putting on a green. It's you've got to sort of look at the ups and the downs and the movement and judge your pace of your bowl accordingly.
Yeah, they always say in Crown Green Bowls, it's not just your opponent you're playing, you're actually playing the green as well, and knowledge of the green is important, and the players here have been having to gather that over the last 3 days, never having been here before. But Kathy's let Jenna in here.
Yeah, Jenna in for certainly in the last 5 minutes or so, she's been in control, although it's not quite as tight as her other leads have been.
It just shows that part of the green is the fastest part. They do run off down there. I think Kathy will be aware of it. Yeah, she is. She's got a good one.
There's Graham again. Unusually, because of his tremendous successes down the years, for him to be the one nervously cheering his wife on to victory. But he is taking on that role superbly. In fact, he's been marking cards as she's progressed through the tournament, has he not?
He's been marking some cards, and I've also noticed his nails are a bit bitten down. Yeah, he doesn't usually do that, but they're a bit bitten down this week.
They always reckon that players are much better out there than watching, aren't they? No chance for Kathy. Trailing by 4.
Just gone out.
Here I am with Jimmy Parker, more familiar as the bowls manager of the Waterloo Hotel in Blackpool, but bowls coordinator for this event in Bridlington. A new venture, Jimmy, coming over this side of the border to Thing 1. How's it gone?
Yeah, it's been fabulous. I was approached last year by Alan from Greens Park Homes, who sponsored the Waterloo, about whether I'd be interested in running an event over here for them, and did we think we'd get people over here. And with the prize money that they've put up, all the players have been absolutely astounded to get in the thing.
You've had a real top-class lineup both in the men's and the ladies, which is superb and down to you as much as anything with your reputation in the game. How did it fill, and what's the prize money, and what was the entry?
And the men's event was full within 72 hours. It was absolutely phenomenal, the interest in the competition. We could have filled it